On the continent where nature reveals itself in its most vibrant splendor, there lived an imposing figure who embodies the strength and might of the animal kingdom. Endowed with unmatched size and a dazzling mane that reached down to his belly, giving him a majestic presence. His name, was Kalamas, and he is probably the largest lion of recent decades. Kalamas was born around the year 2010 near the Ngorongoro area in Tanzania. Very little is known about his origins and his ancestors, but wherever he came from, his parents must have had extraordinary genes. The first time the rangers spotted King Kalamas was in 2014. One of them said, "I was amazed to see such a beast. He was a different kind of lion, about 4 years old, with a long, very dark mane that covered him down to his elbows and reached his belly. He was a male in the prime of his life and was clearly very attractive to the lionesses in the area." And since 2014, the research team in Tanzania decided to follow Kalamas on his upcoming adventures. Kalamas spent the year 2014 as a solitary nomadic male. Being a solitary nomad was not a problem for Kalamas, since his impressive physique made it easy for him to hunt large prey. But Kalamas already wanted to have his own territory, and due to the large coalitions that inhabited the Ngorongoro crater, Kalamas needed to find a coalition partner in order to have a chance at defeating the rival coalitions. That's how Kalamas managed to ally himself with another male, known as Blaze, who, like Kalamas, was roaming the highlands of the crater. Both Kalamas and Blaze were extraordinary specimens, and without a doubt they could fight for land and a pride. A few months went by, and the kings were already leading 2 prides and were bigger than ever. The rangers and veterinarians had a great opportunity to study one of them, who was Blaze. Since Kalamas was very difficult to spot because he was always constantly patrolling. Blaze was examined, and he turned out to have a surprising weight of approximately over 600 pounds, making him one of the largest wild lions in the crater. But the most surprising thing was that when Blaze was next to Kalamas, Blaze actually looked smaller than him. At that time, Kalamas would become the largest wild lion in the Ngorongoro crater, and probably one of the largest in Africa, according to many, even bigger than Notch's own grandson, Taib the Great Earless. Although some say it was Kalamas's magnificent mane that made him appear larger than Earless. Kalamas fathered his own cubs with the females of his pride and managed to protect them successfully, even though he was almost always traveling in search of new territories. Unfortunately, months later, his brother Blaze would say goodbye to this world. Blaze died due to human conflicts that for years have been claiming the lives of great kings. It is still unknown whether Blaze was specifically targeted by hunters or if he simply fell into a trap. Since the departure of his companion Blaze, Kalamas never allied with another male and lived a solitary life until the end of his days. Sadly, he returned to the solitary life of his youth. Kalamas was last seen in 2019, and it was believed that he had died since many months had passed since his last sighting. Although the guides knew that Kalamas was very difficult to find, as he was always on the move, they did not rule out the possibility that he was still alive. And so it was. Kalamas was miraculously seen 2 years later and in good condition. But a year later, interestingly, he was seen losing his entire mane. It was assumed that this was due to his age and the stress he was experiencing, since several young males were constantly stalking him because he was a solitary lion. Fortunately, little by little, his magnificent mane started to grow back again. One of the last sightings we had of Kalamas Bill was when he was with some lionesses from the Lake Quinte coalition, which at that time was the most powerful coalition in the Ngorongoro crater area and controlled the largest number of tribes in the area. Without a doubt, Kalamas was taking a huge risk by daring to enter that territory and being with some of the lionesses from the late winter pride. Finally, the legendary king, who spent his last month as a solitary nomad, distancing himself from all pride and lionesses. And in April of this year, he was found dead. The causes of his death were natural. He died at the age of 13. Kalamas lived a very successful life, considering that he spent almost his entire life alone, traveling through much of the Ngorongoro and Serengeti areas. This king had an extraordinary appearance. He also left behind some cubs, and many of them were already adolescents, who appeared to be in very good condition, and were large, just like their father. I hope Kalamas' genes continue to spread throughout Ngorongoro and all of Africa. Without a doubt, Kalamas is one of the most beautiful lions we have ever seen.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Well friends, this has been a video dedicated to the fabulous King Kalamas. Don't forget to subscribe friends, it would really help me out. And if you like the video, please leave a like. See you in the next video, and thank you all very much. I love you all.
Dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead of say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving